This is Dr. Lawrence Jones to review with you the announcement of class and component prices for December 2019, which were just released yesterday. To remind us where we are in the milk pricing cycle, we've had the December class and components. We had the December advanced prices a little while ago. So now we're just waiting for the PPD and the statistical uniform prices. But at the same time, we also have the January advanced prices, and sometime in this next 10 days, we'll actually have the February advanced prices. So if we go through this announcement of class and component prices, the top part of this was announced in the advanced information that came out a couple weeks ago. So the class 1 at 22.58 and some of the class 2 stuff. The new information would be the class 3 price, which came in at 19.37, and the class 4, which came in at $16.70. The important piece of this would be the actual component prices. So butter came in at $2.20, protein at $3.65, and other solids just a little over 13 cents. So for the rest of this video, I was going to kind of go through how these prices got set because they were not by accident. So if we look at what happened the last 4 weeks, we had the National Dairy Product Sales Reports. There was one on the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. And those came in at the bottom down here, which were finally announced, which was $1.98 for butter, $1.22 for non-fat dry milk, and $2.05 for cheese, and just under 33 cents for whey. And if we look at this figure that USDA has kind of presented before, is that we get these commodity prices, then they feed into the protein, the butterfat, other solids, and non-fat solids, which then feed into the class 3 and class 4 prices. So to look at the impact of these, what I thought it'd be interesting to do is look at the December class 3 and class 4 prices that we've been tracking for the last 4 months. Here are the graphs since August for class 3 and class 4 milk for December. And so over that time period, class 3 milk has actually gone up about 14%, and class 4 has been relatively flat at plus 1%. Now if we look at the 4 different components, we see that butter has actually come down about 10%. Cheese has gone up 16%. Non-fat dry milk is about 12% up, and whey is about 12% negative. And so these all come together to give us these two graphs on top. And so the question is, what are the relationships here? So again, just to reorient ourselves, if we look at the start, that was back in August. Class 3 was at $16.99 and class 4 $16.58. And here were the commodity prices at $2.23, $1.11 for non-fat dry milk, $1.77 for cheese, and 37 cents for whey. When we ended up, like I said, the butter was down 10%, right at $2. Non-fat dry milk was up by 12%. Cheese was up 16%, clear up to $2.05, and whey was down that 12%, and that gave us a class 3 of 19.31 and a class 4 of 16.73. So what I did was took each of these and started with the starting amount, but then just changed and put in the ending amount for butter, non-fat dry milk, cheese, and whey, just to see how it impacts the projections of class 3 and class 4. And so here are the actual estimates with those difference in commodities. And what happens when we get all the way through here, we see that for class 3, $2.32 to the positive, and almost all of that was due to the cheese increase. Now, if we look at class 4, it is not impacted at all by cheese and whey, but it was impacted majority by non-fat dry milk and butter. I brought this all the way over to the right hand side here, which is what I think is the most important, to ask if we have a 1 unit change in a commodity, what happens to the class 3 price. So for example, in butter, if we have a 1 cent change in butter, we get a 2.1 cent change in class 3 or 4.3 cent change in class 4. So the impact on butter is bigger in class 4 than in class 3. And for non-fat dry milk, it's very large for class 4, whereas class 3 it is cheese. So the ratio, 1 cent increase in cheese is going to lead to basically a 10 cent increase in class 3. And that's been kind of an old rule of thumb, is a 1 point increase in cheese gives you a 10 point increase in class 3. Now whey has a ratio of 5, almost 6 to 1, but in fact the whey doesn't change numerically by very much. This also helps to explain why milk price is most heavily influenced by cheese and non-fat dry milk, and to a much lesser extent butter and whey. So I'll conclude this video in kind of the discussion that I view class 3 and class 4 are like mutual funds for the commodities. Class 3, the commodities are butter, cheese, and whey, and the ratio is 2.1 for butter, 9.6 for cheese, and 5.7 for whey, so highly dominating on the cheese market. Class 4 is only butter and non-fat dry milk, and it's weighted twice as heavy for non-fat dry milk than it is for butter. And this continues on the theme which I've been pushing pretty heavily, which is we should be contracting these individual commodities and not the actual mutual funds. The milk price and pricing videos are normally released on a website called the CWT Group, and that stands for Consultants Working Together. And if you're not registered, go to your browser and type in the CWT Group, and then it will bring you to this page to where you can register for the site. So once you're logged in, there are several points to look at here. Under the private section, there's milk pricing and milk pricing videos. So if we go to view post, you'll see the last post, which recently we posted the milk price forecast. And also under the home screen, you'll also get to see the most recent comments that have been made. And so you can see here there was a discussion about the Jefferson County, New York milk co-op losing their milk market, kind of gone back and forth here. And then of course the piece that everybody has access to is the Business Resource Center, and this is where companies can provide information pertinent to the industry. So I hope you get a chance to check out the CWT, and if you register for the first time, you'll have to wait for me to change your profile to have access to these things, because there has been a number of illicit hits to the site that we're trying to keep anybody that's not appropriate out of the site. So it's become fairly significant, and I think there's about 100 subscribers currently looking at the milk price and pricing videos.